Section 3 ends by reflecting on the indivisibility of human rights in addressing sexual and reproductive health, with Terry McGovern explaining the wide range of sexual and reproductive health and rights that have evolved to address equity in health.
I am really happy to be here. I want to begin by congratulating Professors Gostin and Mason-Meyer for this incredibly useful book. I've been teaching health and human rights on and off for many, many years, and this is exactly what we need so that we don't have to kind of scrounge around for so many materials. Just a bit on what the chapter is on. First of all, this chapter was written by me and Professor Aziza Ahmed at Northeastern. And I am just presenting for the two of us. Our core concept is, of course, that the fulfillment of sexual and reproductive health and rights is essential for the realization of global health equity and universal human rights. Our chapter actually examines the evolution of international human rights standards for health equity, focusing on SRHR, sexual reproductive health and rights, as a movement for realizing health and human rights. Part 1 is an overview of the evolving women's rights advocacy and international commitments that define sexual and reproductive health and rights. Part 2 focuses on key issues in the continuing development and national implementation of these rights. As sexual reproductive health and rights gets incorporated or not into development agendas, clarified by treaty bodies and expanded to include sexual, quote unquote, minorities. With the progressive trajectory of sexual and reproductive health and rights uncertain, Part 3 reflects on continuing challenges, including the ongoing criminalization of those who seek services and their providers, challenges posed by the rise of right-wing populism for feminist advocacy goals, and the pushback against lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights, given rising opposition to sexual rights, safe abortion, and sexuality education. This chapter concludes that creative advocacy will be required to respond to these struggles and advance sexual and reproductive health. Needless to say, we are hopeful that some of the damage that has been done by the Trump administration, including the global gag rule, the domestic gagging of Title X funding, the use of every opportunity in the multilateral space to chip away at sexual and reproductive health and rights. We're hoping that we'll see a change in the year to come. But nonetheless, these are recurring long-term struggles. So we hope that our chapter will help give students some of the basic history here. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Terry.